Hey, buddy, welcome back. All right, so last time we actually talked about maps, which that was before the AT&T outage, but we had talked about how to understand the legends on a map. Well, street maps are pretty straightforward. You know, they tell you where all the streets are, but there's other maps out there, other topographical maps that you may have access to, which actually show like your more open terrains and stuff, the places where if you are in a survival situation, it might be a good idea to head to. And when you look at these maps, there's going to be certain colors on the map that are going to be important in understanding how to read it. So, and when you're understanding a map, it's important to understand these colors. So we're going to talk about the 5 major colors on the map. And so the first major color is going to be your brown. Now, if you look on a map, you're going to have a series of brown lines on it. And they're usually going to be in various different shapes because they're contour lines. So if you consider that a topographical map is a 2-dimensional representation of a 3-dimensional object. So if you have a mountain, like say, like we have the Franklin Mountains here in El Paso, right? So as you go up the elevation, you're going to have contour lines. So, and then every 20 degree, and so every line on the map is going to represent 20 degrees. Well, as those lines get smaller on the map, as they circle up, you're going up. And as they circle out, you're going down. And so, and they're going to be in 20 degree increments. So let's say that you're at a mountain pass, and the contour line that you're on is 500 degrees. Well, if there's another 10 lines up, is going to be 600 degrees. So as they shrink in, if they're going in, you're at 600 degrees. As they go out, you're going down to 400 degrees. And so that's why contour lines are so important, and those are represented by the brown lines. The next major color on a map, and this one can be like really important, is the green. So, and green of course represents vegetation. And so the darker a green is on the map, that represents how dense, like a more dense grove of vegetation. So if you want to head somewhere where there's a lot of trees and plants, and not in the desert, but in like a forest or something, you're going to want to look for like green patches on your maps. So in fact, even that's one thing that even on this street map is you can see, because if you look here on the map down here, this is Big Bend. See, this is kind of, so this green is all vegetation. So that's represented by vegetation, which, as you can see on the map, well, national parks, but so they're national parks, and then you got, but that's where you're going to have your vegetation at on your maps. So, and then, so that's important because the darker the green is on a map, it's like going to be thicker than vegetation. And then the third major color on a map is blue, and blue is going to represent water. Which, and if you look right down here, even on this street map, down here we have some blue here because we've got like some lakes. Then you've got like some rivers. So the blues, if it's blue, it means water, and water means life. So that's something else that you might want to, if you're in a survival situation, you have access to a map, you're going to want to look for locations where you have dense green next to blue, because that's going to be water and plants. Water and plants also means animals. So it's important to understand that. Now then, the fourth major color on the map is going to be black. And black represents any man-made structure. So if you're looking at a map, and not necessarily a street map, but like an open, like a wilderness map, If there's something on there, like if there's a building, like say a ranger station or a lookout tower, or trails or a railroad, that's all going to be marked on in black. And so if you see black, it's a man-made structure. And then finally, the color you need to be aware of is red. Now, red, those are like your major roadways, like highways, interstates. Those are all going to be represented in red. And I'm pretty sure, see, even on the street map, well, it's a little bit different because they actually, it's like a blue and red. And that's why I said there's a difference in this one and your other maps. But 62, it's red. That's a major roadway. And so those are the 5 major colors when you're looking at a map that you need to be aware of. And most of them are pretty universal depending on what map you're using. There may be some differences, but see, blue is still water no matter what you do. So that's something to look forward to on a map. Road maps are a little bit different, but the colors are still going to stand out. Let's see if we can look at a... But if there's any deviation from your standard colors, refer back to your legend like we talked about last time. All right, that's it. That's what we're talking about. Colors on a map.